What is up, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another video by Newtype Sith. On today's video, we're going to be comparing two Sabertrio lightsabers. It'll be the Sabertrio Aeryn, which is provided by Kyberphonics Jesse, allowing us to use this for reviews, sound font reviews, and all other things. And the Sologaard from Sabertrio. This is one of their newest lightsabers out on the market. If you haven't seen any review videos, please click the link to the video right above me so you can be updated on this entire lightsaber and just how amazing it truly is. Now you're probably wondering, why am I doing a comparison on a lightsaber from the same company? Well, it's because the Sabertrio Sologaard is one of the newest lightsabers from Sabertrio. It's actually only been out a few months, and this is one of the first CFX that will be able to be shipped out. And the other lightsaber, the Sabertrio Aeryn, is also equipped with CFX as well. Now, the soundboards may not be any different, but there are a few key differences in these lightsabers. One of them being the speakers are completely different. The original Sabertrio Aeryn came with a 28mm speaker, whereas this Sabertrio Sologaard only has a 22mm speaker, which a lot of people are saying, you know, is there going to be that big a difference between those two? And you'll just have to find that out here on this video. Let's get started on this awesome Sabertrio comparison video. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can be updated on more nerd news, lightsaber reviews, and much more. Now, some of the more obvious differences between these two lightsabers is the obvious look. Now, here you have the Sabertrio Aeryn that has a thin neck, kind of like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi, and a lot of other cool, iconic canon lightsabers like Obi-Wan, and so on. Whereas this lightsaber has more of a look of Ben Solo's lightsaber, or Kylo Ren's lightsaber, just without the Quillians. Personally, if I have to, I guess, pick which one I like more, it's definitely going to be the Sologaard. I'm not really the biggest thin neck fan, and before you start freaking out, it's nothing to do with canon lightsabers like Luke's, it's just a preference and look. I personally just love how sabers look like this compared to this. Now, do I love the Aeryn? Yes. Do I like thin necks? Yes. I just don't like them as much as other lightsabers. Personally, my favorite's a curved hilt, which at this point, I don't even own anymore. So it's just whatever you truly like more. Now, big differences between both these lightsabers, besides the look, are the size. The Sologaard is at least another inch and a half taller than the Aeryn. And as weird as that is, this may be the shorter lightsaber, but it's a lot more heavy. To tell you the truth, I personally feel like the Sologaard is the lightest Sabertrio I've ever held. As far as comfortability for spinning, once again, gonna have to go with the Sologaard. The Aeryn, it does feel good spinning, especially when you get it right in that little thin neck pocket. But at the same time, you end up hitting the button a lot while spinning, which is something I don't really like to do. Whereas the Sologaard, no matter where you hold it when you're spinning, it's super comfortable. Another awesome difference is the details in each of these hilts. They kind of bring out their own. Whereas you see these awesome little grooves and slots that once again kind of remind you of Luke Skywalker's thin neck. Whereas this is kind of like the opposite inverted version of Kylo Ren and Ben Solo's lightsaber, where usually these are kind of protruding from the hilt, whereas these are now recessing in, which is really cool look, and I feel like it makes the grips look a lot more detailed compared to the other Sabertrio lightsabers. Now, this will be something that's more of a personalized preference, with this not being my actual lightsaber. Personally, I do like the white illuminated button, but I really can't get over how good the green is.
It's not turning over.
Give it a little bit more juice.
You can tell that I really like that font. It's on pretty much every video I've posted the past 2 weeks. The next thing to look at is sound resonance. Personally, I have to give it to the Aeryn on this one. The pommel on the Aeryn is fantastic. As well with the Reaver and the Vulcan. Both of those have extremely good pommels. Now, the pommel on the Sologaard and Crossguard, it's not that it's a bad pommel by any means, it's just the resonance and the sound venting on them is just a lot different compared to your typical lightsaber hilt. So if you can see on the Aeryn, it's a very deep pommel and you have a lot of room there for the sound to circulate and to breathe through. Whereas here on the Sologaard, you can tell that there's kind of a chamber that stops right before it, and that kind of blocks some of the good bassy sounds that you like. Now, it is very clear, and I know you might be thinking, well, that's because it has a 22mm speaker compared to the 28. No, it actually has nothing to do with that. Because you can swap Sabertrio pommels around just to find out for yourself on which one sounds the best. But personally, compared to these two, the Aeryn definitely sounds cleaner and a little bit more bassy. So, here for yourself. That's that new Mara Jade font by Kyberphonics. And then here it is on the Sologaard. Now this is an obvious different font, but Kyberphonic as well. They're both set to the same volume. Super clear, super good sounding. Super clear, pretty bassy, but in all honesty, it's definitely a little bit better from the Aeryn, to tell you the truth. Now the next thing I'm going to compare between both of these hilts is the blade retention screws. On the Aeryn, I don't know if it's because this is such an older model hilt compared to the Sologaard, it never wants to stay tight. All the threads are perfectly fine, same with all the hardware involved with it, just doesn't like to stay tight. I don't know if that's a thin neck thing because the blade depth isn't as much as this, but it does like to come loose a lot more than any other Sabertrio I have played with. It's not because of violent swings or anything like that. Like literally over time, for some reason, it just likes to loosen up, and it is kind of annoying. Whereas the Sologaard, I haven't had a single issue yet with any of the blade retention screws or hardware at all. This blade has stayed solid in this lightsaber pretty much the entirety of me owning it. I think I've taken it out like 2 or 3 times. Where guaranteed every time I spin the Aeryn around, I have to readjust it every single time after I spin it for maybe even a minute, not even a minute. It just inevitably always goes loose. So maybe if one of you have an Aeryn and you don't have these problems, please put that in the comment. It could just maybe be this hilt itself, but it is just something I have noticed ever since I've been using this. So now that we've talked about the visuals and some things like the hardwares and the sound venting, let's look at what the big key difference is, and that would be the pricing. The Aeryn is a little bit cheaper than the Sologaard, but once again, when it comes to options and weathering and whatnot, I'm going to say the Sologaard takes the win. Reason being is because all the weathering options for the Sologaard looks fantastic. I'm not saying that they don't look fantastic for the Aeryn, but truthfully, I feel like this is the only way to have the Aeryn. The weathered Aeryn, it's not that it's bad, it's just I feel it kind of takes away from the Jedi look of the lightsaber. Not saying that all Jedis have to have a shiny, nice looking lightsaber, they can't have like a darker side saber, but the difference is the Sologaard's gonna just look better, in my opinion. And I'm sure, once again, this video, this is not for everybody. This is my opinion and me showing you the two differences. So if you just happen to be looking between which one you want to buy during the next Sabertrio run, and these are your two choices, I'm going to tell you Sologaard no matter what. Aeryn is a fantastic lightsaber, and if you're a huge thin neck fan, then this is probably the one for you. But the biggest thing was price. And pricing, they're about the same. And especially when it comes down to the CFX, which is what I would prefer when you are purchasing a lightsaber if you're a beginner. If you are someone that's been into lightsabers for a while, then I shouldn't have to explain this at all to you, but Profi is a lot more difficult to deal with. Yes, the new update is going to be a lot more user-friendly, but as of right now, for changing fonts, blade styles, CFX is the way to go if you are learning. The last and final thing I would like to show you are the differences in the speakers and how easy it is to access each of the soundboards on these lightsabers. So first off, I'm going to start with the Sabertrio Sologaard. So simply just unscrew your pommel. Right here. Place it down. And this is the best way to get your cord. Give it a little shake. And just like that, there you go. So you're going to have your recharge port, and if you pull a little bit further down, you're going to have your access to your SD card and a USB micro like charger, or I think that's where you can switch fonts as well. I just take the sound card out every time. But pretty easy, pretty simple, and it goes in very well. So flip it. Best part is you don't have to push it down on this at all. With the Sologaard and the crossguard, it kind of recesses in perfectly. And just like that, that's simple. You've just charged your lightsaber, it's done. Now on the Sabertrio Aeryn, it's not that it's any more difficult to pull the battery out or anything like that, but I will say, because this pommel doesn't recess as far into the lightsaber, you run into the issues of trying to get the core out. It will slide out, no issue. This is also an older saber, so everything there, same exact spots as the Sologaard. But this is where it's a little trickier on this saber. It's a lot tighter, the core itself, inside the hilt. So where the pommel section is, you definitely have to push down, never on the speaker. Do not ever touch the speaker. Whatever you do, don't ever touch a speaker on your lightsaber. You'll blow it out. You won't be having a good time. So you're going to have these little rings around the speaker, and you have to gently push those down. If you have something that helps you push it down, use it. Personally, me, I just like to use my nail, get it down to a certain point to where the threads can do the rest of the work for you. But that's why I'm saying it's a little inconvenient compared to the Sologaard, but they're obviously completely different hilts, so that's to be expected. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this short review of my comparisons to the Sabertrio Aeryn and Sologaard. Now, I know to some, it's like, what's the point of doing a video like this? They're both Sabertrios. Well, because when you're going to purchase something this expensive, I feel like it's good to have options. And personally, even though these are by the same company, they're two completely different lightsabers. I don't care if they have the same soundboard or electronics. They feel completely different, and it feels like you have a completely different lightsaber. It doesn't matter if it's from the same company. Personally, on this review, I'm going to give the Sologaard the #1 pick, in my opinion, but that's also because it's my preference of things that I like. The Sabertrio Aeryn, I would pick over most thin necks. Reason being, it's comfortable compared to other thin necks, and it's Sabertrio, so I know the quality is fantastic regardless. And with a little bit of work and maybe some painting or maybe some etching, this could be a lot better than what I'm giving it credit for. But regardless, both are fantastic lightsabers made by an amazing company, and they're both equipped with CFX, so what's there to lose? Thank you everybody for watching this video, and once again, if you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be updated on more nerd news, lightsaber reviews, and much more, and it helps us grow as a channel for all of us Star Wars nerds. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on the channel.